if you ask anyone in baseball, they'll tell you the key to winning a World Series all starts with pitching. Now, since the game has changed a little bit over the years, I decided to go to the opposite ends of the spectrum to find out what it takes to succeed on the mound.
Let's talk about what makes a pitcher and make a successful pitcher. And I think one of the main things is conditioning. And the other one is concentration. And there's a bunch of C's that I use. And if I had all these C's I could throw into a pot, and a melting pot, and make a pitcher come out of that pot, I'd have a complete pitcher. Concentration, coaching, and all those other things that start with C. And I believe in that. And you don't see it today in the pitchers because their mindset is such that the managers on teams, major league teams, have their setup man, they have their long man, they have their setup man, they have their closer,
and middle relievers.
So the starter now, who's probably to me the most important part of the team, because he's the one that's got to hold the team to get to these other parts of the
he's got to go the longest
process. And they go on the mound now, I think, thinking about doing good for 5 or 6 innings. And it should not be that way. It should be that you go out there for completeness, another C. You go out there to be complete pitcher. And this is how you become a complete pitcher, by thinking completeness, getting good coaching, and then concentrating on condition. How do I pitch 9 innings? And how do I come back after pitching 9 innings? Do I get a bad arm? Do I hurt my arm? And if you condition yourself to the degree that you won't hurt yourself, because what we do, Maria, is we play a running game.
That's it.
Baseball is a running game, much like other sports, but in baseball, a hitter can take a quick step out of the box and pull a hamstring. And a pitcher can throw a baseball, and this arm was not meant to throw a baseball. God did not mean to throw a baseball. So you tear ligaments, and you tear blood vessels in your arm when you pitch a baseball.
So what can you do to prevent that, do you think, that they're not doing now? Because it seems like so many of the managers don't want their players to go through the 5th or 6th because they feel like they're breaking their bodies down.
I think condition. They have to run more. And that's what I'm saying about a running game. Baseball is a running game for all the players, but most certainly pitchers, because pitchers have to have a good, strong, great foundation in order to be successful.
Why do you think they got away from doing that, from running?
Well, I think the weights have come into the clubhouse, and the treadmill has come into the clubhouse, and they have different concepts, and they have a lot of technology now that changes baseball. That's changed baseball, and rightfully so. I'm not arguing that, but if they lift weights in the clubhouse, for instance, they also should run in the outfield in the hot summer where they play the game, not in the clubhouse where there's a treadmill machine. And I've always been a firm believer in that. And let me tell you something. When I started my baseball career, Maria, in 1944, as a 17-year-old kid in the then Negro Leagues, I was 17 years old, and I was trying to make a team called the Newark Eagles in Newark, New Jersey. And the first day I went to training camp with this team in, I think it was probably February or March of that year. And we went to Virginia University in Richmond, Virginia. And the manager of that team, who was in the Hall of Fame, his name is Willie Wells. He's from the Negro Leagues and been voted in the Hall of Fame with the Negro League players of the past. And he was our manager. And he came to me after I got dressed in that uniform that day. He came to me and said, "You don't throw a baseball in this training camp for the first 5 or 6 days you're in this camp." I said, well, why, Mr. Wells? I said, I was perturbed, you see, Maria, because I was one that I was going to try to make the baseball club. And I was going out and I was going to impress by throwing a baseball, because I could throw it at 17. I didn't know where it was going, but I could throw it. Now, Mr. Wells said, "Let me tell you something, Don. I've been around baseball a long time, and let me tell you something. The most important part of your body is your legs. And you're a big kid now at 17 years old, and you're going to get bigger. You're going to get heavier. You're going to get stronger. But you're also going to throw a baseball maybe harder than you throw it now.
That's right.
And you're going to hurt your arm. And if you hurt your arm, your career in baseball is over. So I don't want that to happen on my team." So he made me run for the first 5 or 6 days. He wouldn't let me play pepper even with the players with the bat. He wouldn't let me throw batting practice. He said, "You run, and I'll decide when it is you pitch on my team." And I made the team. I won 7 games that year as a rookie. The next year I won 14 games. And the following year, I was a part of history with Jackie Robinson and Roy Campanella in changing baseball, the major league area of baseball, by being signed with them by Brian Trickey of the Dodgers in Brooklyn in 1946 at that time, to start the process of what Jackie Robinson and Roy Campanella and Don Newcomb did, in addition to Larry Doby in the American League a year later.
Well, and just to elaborate on that, you recently met President Obama, who thanked you for helping him become the president by what you did.
Imagine that, Maria. Imagine that. The President of the United States, the most powerful man in the world.
Yes. Well, maybe you're the most powerful man in the world.
No, I'm not the most powerful man, but I shook hands, and he wanted to meet me.
That's right.
He told his assistant, I want to meet Don Newcomb. Don Newcomb, I know, wants to meet me, but I want to meet him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I respected him and Jackie and Roy and what they did to make it possible for me and my wife to be where we are today. And when he came up to my wife, Karen, and I, he said that to us. You men don't know how you made my life so easy that I am in the position I'm in now.
Right.
And when he introduced me at a where he's supposed to be a spokesman a few minutes later, he told the audience about Don Newcomb and Jackie Robinson and Roy Campanella and how we made it possible for him to be where he is today.
That's right.
And that made me feel so good. It made me. He even put me in the Hall of Fame, Maria.
Wow,
he said,
that's pretty good.
There's my Hall of Famer. When he walked up to me, there's my Hall of Famer, he said. And I might not get to Cooperstown, but I'm sure in the Obama Hall of Fame.
That's a pretty good one to be in as well.
Hall of Fame in the White House in Washington.
You know, you're such a mentor to so many of the guys out here with the Andre Ethiers and the Matt Kems. What kind of things do you tell them to sort of keep them encouraged and keep their game going?
Keep their confidence. There's a C again.
Yes, it
Keep
is.
their confidence, and don't let anything get you down. I remember telling Andre a couple of years ago, we stood right where he's walking past now, and I said to him, and I put my arm around his waist, I said, let me tell you something, young man. You are going to be a great baseball player. You're not playing now, you're being platoon. But don't you lose your confidence in yourself. Don't let anybody take that away from you. You're born with it, you have it in your system, you have it in your backbone, and you're going to be a great baseball player. And don't you ever let anybody take it away from it. And he said, thank you, Mr. Newcomb, I'll never forget it. And until today, he never forgot that.
That's right.
And we still talk about it. With Matt Kemp, the same thing. Don't lose your confidence.